All right, what's going on, everybody? It's Jack, and welcome back to another video, and happy Monday to everybody. I hope everybody has a wonderful week ahead. I know most of us probably dread Mondays, which is very, very understandable, but you know, all we can do is hope for the best and keep on looking forward. Now, today's topic of discussion is going to be about Optic Scumpy, or Optic Scump, and about his retirement, which may come either sooner or slightly later. Now, first of all, man, talk about showing up at COD Champs for Cold War this past game. My goodness, I mean, he had gotten the COVID, and then he tested negative 2 days before flying out to the event, which was just in time, and man, did he show up, and he was probably the best player out of everybody. The only problem was that his team did not show up with him. I think it would have been an absolutely scary day for anybody else to go up against Optic if everybody else on the team showed up as much as Scump. Hell, even Formal didn't show up, and everybody knows how Formal basically has been very consistent, except slightly as of late. I mean, I don't follow the Pro League that much. I just kind of take a peek or whatnot, but when it comes to COD Champs, I'll watch it because I want to see who's going to get the next ring and all that kind of good stuff. But anyway, Scump, my goodness, this was actually one of the few times where I actually felt bad for him and the team, because it's like he was right there, he was ready to go, he was frying, and then all of a sudden, boom, like he couldn't do anything, despite the fact that he was just one person and he was doing his thing. I mean, without the team, he just couldn't do anything, so I felt bad for him. It could have been easily a top 2 placement for him in the team if the rest of the team showed up, but hey, what can you do? What can you do? Now, talking about his retirement, another thing that I've seen is every so often I'll watch Hex's podcast or whatnot. I like to watch that on and off, just to kind of. I've been kind of on a podcast kick lately. It's been pretty interesting, and every so often I always like to listen to what the pros have to say and their point of views and stuff like that. Although whenever it comes to promoting a new game, I will say that even with them, I will take their opinions with a grain of salt. I remember Crim6 roasted Infinity Ward and Modern Warfare 2019 when that game first came out. I remember he did it publicly at one of the post conferences after a game or whatnot in 2019. And then let's see what else. And then of course, obviously, Scump got fined like twice for saying that Modern Warfare was the worst Call of Duty ever and that Warzone was its only saving grace, and I fully 100% agree. Except unless you get in a party with your homies and play Search and Destroy and talk shit to other people. Apparently that's the thing for Modern Warfare 2019, and also it was also said that way before then that Search and Destroy was definitely very good in Modern Warfare 2019. So if you're a big Search and Destroy fan, if you like to play with your homies and stuff like that, and if you like horse feet, I mean, the sound of horse feet and stampedes coming at you, then I guess Modern Warfare 2019 is up your alley. But no, I'm not even hating, man. I'm not even hating. You guys do you. But what I wanted to talk about was his retirement and the impact that it would have on the league and Call of Duty in general. Now, obviously, for the league is what we're talking about, right? In terms of pubs, I mean, it's really not going to have much of an impact, if not at all. I mean, don't get me wrong, Scump is one of the best pub stompers and pro players ever. He's one of the best pro players ever to play. He's always in the conversation of the best player ever when it comes to the list or whatnot. Top 10 for sure, top 5 for sure in terms of everybody. So very, very big accomplishment. And one of the few people that truly know what sweating is, because until you play Call of Duty on a competitive level to where everybody is just as good or better than you, and they're sweating, they're going for the win, they're doing call outs, they're playing, they're coming up with strategies, they're playing, you know, anywhere from 8 to 12 hours a day. Even with the skill-based matchmaking / engagement optimization matchmaking, even though that is brutal as hell, we are never going to know unless we specifically compete. That is the only time you will ever know. So, especially over the last few years, the last few Call of Duty games have not been very sharp, and these guys are forced to play the game on that level. They may not play that much pubs anymore because of the way the games are designed, but when it comes to like the competitive side of things, these guys are forced in many instances to play a game that they may not enjoy. Back in the day, I mean, I know that the competitive side to COD is different than what we play in pubs, because there's a rule set, there's game modes. It's 4v4, sometimes 5v5, depending on the game itself. There's things that are banned that you can't use and stuff like that, specific maps that you play on. You guys know how it goes. So now he's been, competing for like 10 years now? He's been a professional Call of Duty player for 10 years, and even though he's like 25, 26, he's still in his physical prime, but at the same time, you gotta admit that he's put up with a lot, he's played a lot, and if a game is not up to par, and as, of course, you know, when you get into your mid to high 20s, even though that number seems to be increasing in terms of when professional Call of Duty players retire, it seems to be, from what I'm looking at, it seems to be in the mid to high 20s of when people start to retire. And some players that are still active today are up there, and people are expecting their retirement to come in looming, and you just kind of don't know until like you get close to the end. So a lot of people, like going back to Hex's podcast, I remember he was talking to another pro player, and pretty much all the pro players that have been asked or talked about this, like when Scump retires, there's going to be a lot of viewership lost for the competitive side of things, because, you know, his fans absolutely love him, even when he's wrong. His fans absolutely love him, and they will defend him whether he's right or wrong. He's got that strong of a fan base. It's the absolute truth. So, and he definitely has been a tremendous impact, not just from Optic Gaming as well, but in terms of the player that he is and the kind of viewership that he draws, both from a YouTube standpoint. I mean, the guy is also a good gamer. Like, he plays any shooter he plays, he's good at. That's another thing. He's very, very, very talented, and obviously he's very popular within the community. He's hardworking. He streams a lot and stuff like that. So when the day comes that he actually does step down, for whatever reason, whether it's because he feels like he's tired and he's mentally stressed over the game, or whether he just doesn't feel like competing anymore, or he's just, you know, not into it and not loving it as much, which we all know has an impact. If you're not loving it as much, it's going to have a big impact. I think that's part of the reason why Formal retired. I can't speak for him, but it's, I guess, a combination of things. But everything has an impact in terms of the results. If you're mentally, physically tired, if you've had enough, you've been doing it for a long time, you got the toxicity of things, you go back and forth, you name it, it's very tiring. And these people, they stream a lot, they play a lot, whether they like the game or not, and they just grind. I mean, put the money factor aside. I know these guys make a lot of money. I know Scump is probably the highest, if not one of the highest paid pros in terms of salary, and that's not including content creation and streams and all that kind of stuff. Put the money aside. You can't ignore the fact that, like, these people work very, very hard, and Scump is grinding, that's for sure. So, I mean, hell, I know I'm 37 and all, but if I were to do 5 hours or more of streaming for like every day of the week, or if not 6 days a week, and on top of that, scrims, playing a game and stuff like that, I would be exhausted as fuck, and after years of that, my brain would be mush, man. So I want to ask you guys, how much longer do you think Scump is going to be competing? Do you guys think that with Vanguard that it might be his last one? Do you guys think that he's going to continue on and go for many more years? What do you guys think? So, and because you just never really know, and that number seems to be increasing over the years. I think we're going to start to see pro players that are playing for a longer period of time before they before they want to retire. But so far, the age seems to be mid to late 20s so far for Call of Duty. In Halo, I think you can go even higher because you're not as reliant on your reflexes and Twitch muscle memory fibers and stuff like that. So Halo's a little bit different. You are relying on it, but not as much. So let me know what you guys think and the impact it would have on the league as well, and the popularity of it. As we know on Twitch, Cold War, whether you're playing pubs or even the competitive side of things, the viewership isn't that high unless Optic is playing, and it's mostly because of Scump. At least that's what I like to think from everything social media is telling me. But let me know down in the comment section what you guys think, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a good Monday, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.